We're right in the heart of the natural gas industry right here in Elk City, Oklahoma.
When it's good here, it's bad everywhere else. And when it's good everywhere else, it's bad here. So when you see gas at a dollar something a gallon or $2 a gallon and the United States are excited that they can drive and go everywhere, you won't see people in western Oklahoma that excited because it's affecting our livelihood.
People want to locate here because of the quality of life that we've been able to put together.
In 14, the town was booming. Every stoplight was full, every eatery was full, everything was, retail stores were great. I mean, this last 6 months, I mean, you just don't see the traffic going through here. So it was kind of a little depressed.
But I think that was one of the biggest differences is the people that were in the business here owned their equipment and didn't lose everything to the bank simply because things started slowing down. They just started laying people off. But it also enables them to be more prepared for when this thing comes back.
Financially is the biggest impact. You had people that was making very good money for a number of years, and some of those people seeing, the amount of money going to the household being cut by half. But as a whole, I believe we've kept in there pretty strong, and attitude's good, and we're really looking forward to seeing the next uptick.
Will the oil companies be able to pay the amount of money to lure people back into the industry or into that industry? And how long will it take? Because right now they can't just afford to pay the outlandish pay they were giving these guys before because their margins just aren't there.
Depending on how the election went, there was two thoughts. If one side won, then you would see a potential uptick in our activity in the oil and gas sector. If the other side won, you might see more a longer downturn, more environmental stuff happening that could negatively impact the oil and gas sector. And I think it made a lot of people happy around here on the way it actually turned out.
But overall, the morale of the community has been very good. We've still been able to be progressive in our community. Bringing in Hobby Lobby was a big coup for us. It lifted the spirits and morale of the town. We're also in the process of building a new school that has been needed for 20 years.
The hope is huge. Right now, on our radio station, we have more help wanted ads running than we've had in the last 2 years combined. I mean, right now, we've got people that are coming on our show and saying, well, we thought we were going to hire 5. After the election, they told us to hire 55.
Contrast the candidates for me. What was it about Trump on the energy front that you felt like made him,
I think the fact that he was talking to the Harold Hams of the world and talking to the people who are actively engaged in energy, he was open-minded about it. We felt like that, there was an opportunity perhaps, and I think that resonated with a lot of folks around here.
His boldness is something we've needed. I think his willingness to go to that person and confront them and say, this is what we're doing. Why don't you like this? I think he will listen more than probably what he indicates. He is a businessman, a successful businessman. He didn't get there by being a dictator. And at first I thought this Twitter account was a bad thing, but he seemed to keep shooting himself in the foot during every election, but he survived everything he did and everything he said. So I no longer have any pause about it.
What was the perspective of the presidential election as it relates to oil and gas?
I think it was huge because Trump is pro oil and gas. I mean, he's all for fossil fuels and stuff like that. So that right there going into it, I think was a big indicator that once he got elected, I think we're going to see an increase of business. We're already starting to see some of the benefits already. I think people kind of were up to that point. We're kind of just holding on, not knowing which way it was going to go. But since that time, we've seen an influx of inquiries and business already.
We know how to produce energy. We know how to do it fairly efficiently. But we have been hampered by a lot of the regulations that have taken place.
Some oversight is needed, of course. Too much oversight negatively affects what we do. Not enough turns the other way. So some oversight is needed.
I think that I'm right along with Scott Pruitt. We feel like even though it is in our best interest to have more regulations, so we can go and test them, I don't think that it is necessary. I follow kind of what Trump's after and the whole ordeal of what Scott Pruitt stands behind. So as far as our community and industry, I can't speak for everyone, but there's an excitement with new administration. The regulations that's been put on our industry, as well as others, and the job losses there, we're fully behind this new administration coming in and kind of, I wouldn't say tearing down those barriers, but at least not putting up so many new barriers.
The regs change all the time, and that's what we were worried about when we were doing this testing. This testing was costing us several $100,000, and we could have got done with the testing, and a year later they changed regulations, so we're going to have to retest again. And it's just costing us money, and of course, if it costs us money, it's going to got to go downhill. Somebody's got to pay for it.
It costs a lot of money to hire us, and there's a lot of regulations that gets involved to sustain every time a new rule gets implemented, and ultimately the Americans are going to hurt. That is a cost that the large industry, ConocoPhillips and everyone else, BP of the world, they're not going to absorb that. That will eventually find its way back to the people. I mean, that's just economics. So,
I think another thing is, with Scott Pruitt being the EPA, I think that's going to, he's actually, somebody's going to go in there and not really, I think, just our gut feeling is, he's a guy going to go in there with some common sense on the EPA. There hasn't really been a whole bunch of, common sense on the EPA and stuff like that, but, Scott, with where he's coming from, with the oil and gas, state and stuff like that, he understands. We're all about clean energy, and clean environment, stuff like that, but you could actually do it with some common sense.
this is my industry, this is what we do, and I'm a big proponent of clean air, but I am also a proponent of too many regulations, and too much is absolutely hurting our industry, and I say our industry as being associated with the oil and gas and our community, and I think it's taken jobs completely away from Americans.
If you were to have a sit-down conversation with President-elect Trump, what are some specific things that you would ask him for, or you look for, that would have a direct impact on your company here?
Well, I think, right now, basically is what we need, and I think he's doing it right now, is being self-sufficient energy-wise. We got enough energy right now in the United States to take care of it.
As a city, one of the things we really want to see is the internet tax for people for buying food stuff on the internet. That, cities in Oklahoma run on city sales tax only, and some utilities that we provide. Other states have got other sources of funds. So we think that we need to capture that revenue.
Nothing worries me. There is a change, and I believe a lot of people feel that way. I supported our last president, and there's a difference between agreeing with and supporting. And I think that a lot of individuals can support new administrations without completely agreeing with everything they're doing. I think only time will tell, and I think that's going to take 4 to 8 years for me to eat my words on that if I have to.
And I think that was the one thing that really set him apart in this area, was that people had the hope that, not that he wasn't a buffoon, he was our buffoon, but he was going to actually get people that knew what was going on in, real people.
I think some people are looking forward, to next year, hoping that, it does have a positive impact on it, and that they're making moves, toward that uptick. So I think it did probably have a positive impact.
The attitude is definitely more positive, and overall more optimistic, to tell you the truth, than what it once was.
With the growth and stuff like that, I think it's nothing but going up. I really do. I mean, LC seems to be, they're on the forefront of a lot of things. If you see the other towns around, I think Elk City's more advanced than they are, more aggressive.
Very strong and close-knit as a community, and are able to ride through the times that you take the good with the bad and you continue on with life. Maybe that's a little bit different from the bigger area, bigger population.
The natural gas is the energy of the future, and I think that with us being the deep gas capital of the world, we're going to have an opportunity to see the front end of that.